Alright, welcome back. So, today, another day. Video I've been thinking about making a little while now. Is things people don't see on YouTube when it comes to owning 100 RCs, bashing RCs, like RC Dude 81 and a lot of other YouTubers out there that that buy these RCs and show them to you guys and send them. So we're gonna dig into, this was one of the ones that I brought out to let Bars&tones rip on, because he was thinking about purchasing a DBXLE for his channel, to go out and rip it. He was looking for a bigger RC. He already had the Creighton 8S, and he was looking for that next big move. I try to show everything from front to back, start to finish, everything that it takes to bash an RC, to drag race an RC, to speed run an RC. I do it all from 10th scale to 1/5 scale, whether it's 2-stroke, nitro. I have it all. I buy them, I bash them, I fix them, I make them better, I repair the weak points, and I maintain them. And you guys know I keep them clean. After I'm done ripping it, I throw it on my garage floor, throw everything that's been out running, and when I get a chance, I go through every RC, clean it up, make sure it's good and nothing's broken, and I get it back on the shelf. So the next time I go to grab that RC, it's ready to rip. So we're going to go through this one lightly today. I've been cleaning them up one by one because my ready to run Outcast is going to go back out. That one just had a big beating with Bars&tones and G's RC. It was getting sent, so going through that one so that I can get that one out along with the new EXB roller. So while I was doing that, I'm pulling batteries out of everything, so that I can get things charged up, get things put away, and get things on the shelf so that I can get my floor space. You can't just keep stacking up RCs and keep grabbing another one and ripping them without going through them. So, gonna take you along with the journey. I saw some damage to this one, so I put it off to the side, and now we're going to assess the damage, and then I'm going to get the parts ordered up, and I'm going to show you guys what it costs to do something like this. If you want to send your RC off Big Bertha, or you want to send it off a motorcycle track jump, if you guys want to rip an RC that way, it's gonna cost you. There's just no two ways about it. This one, I've sent it off Big Bertha. I've crashed this thing. I've ran it, you know, into a pole. Actually, that was the original DBXLE. That wasn't this one. But I've crushed this corner off Big Bertha. And I think I even patched the body on one of these sides because the wheel got crushed into it. So let's open it up and see what's going on. So yeah, this one has a patch right in here, which is basically drywall tape and shoe goo to stiffen this up because it pulls. As you see, it pulled that screw out. So that's going to have to get patched up. So we'll take this body off and we'll shoe goo it, drywall tape it, and patch it up. The LED screen cover is gone, so I noticed that right off the bat. What I noticed the biggest out of this thing was when I pulled the pins, I went to put the body down and the body won't close. When this thing won't lock into place properly, then there's an issue. So, you see, The whole nose to this thing is literally broken. So the body on both sides is ripped. There's two locking points on the sides on this. And this is basically to align the body. So it basically pushes on the end right here, pushes the body out, flares it out so the roll cage could lock on here. I do notice that the passenger compartment is ripped completely on one side. The roll cage has got some cracks in it. And the only reason it suffered this much damage is basically hard landings to the front or landing on its lid. When you take all this weight and you land directly on the body, you're gonna break a bunch of stuff. Or if you tumble the RC. So this one's lived a pretty hard life. So the biggest thing I notice right off the bat when I lifted the lid was the shock tower. The whole shock and everything is twisted over. Not only that, this wheel is now towed out. The servo saver pretty much did its job and saved everything it possibly could on some of those crashes. So I'm looking at control arms. Wow, there's a digger underneath here. I'm looking at the front differential case. I do notice that the axle on the left side has been pushed and is bent. I noticed right over here the sway bar link is off. That's the first telltale sign that something's not right, is that it'll pop that. I do notice right here, and this is a brand new piece, is that where this pin goes in to the control arm, this front bracket is now twisted. It's twisted back. So this is twisted forward and this is twisted back, probably causing this wheel to come out. So that's gonna let me know that the hinge pin is probably bent and the hinge pin retainers are bent on the front and probably the rear. So what I'll do is I start making a list and then I'll start looking for these pieces. Front hinge pin and retainers. And here's the thing with Losi is that you can't buy one hinge pin and the hinge pin retainer. With the pins, you got to buy the pins for the whole RC. With the hinge pin retainers, I don't know how they're sold. I'm not sure how the shock towers is sold. What I will do is take this shock tower off because it's creating a big bend right here. I'm going to unbolt the whole shock tower. I will hammer this thing straight. I will pop the sway bar end link back on. I will patch the body, but what I do is I'll also take off the hinge pin retainer and hammer that straight. If the pin's bent, I'll hammer that straight. At that point, I'm going to check the chassis. I have a feeling the front part of this chassis is tweaked up. And what I'll do is I'll start getting all these parts on the way, but it's not going to stop me. Oh, and I got to get a left axle. That's right. Front, left, drive axle. Because parts aren't always in stock and Losi discontinues stuff quickly, a lot of these parts were on the regular DBXLE or on the gas power, the 2-stroke DBXLE, and on the DBXLE 2.0. And that was the whole reason I bought a whole nother Losi DBXLE when they went on sale 2 Christmases ago. I picked up a roller for $600. To repair what I'm about to repair, I'm pretty sure is going to cost over that $600. So I'm going to get this thing flipped over. So you can see what I'm talking about right here. You can see the hinge pin retainer is broken. The front bumper is ripped. So it took on a big rock right in here. Surprisingly enough, the chassis is not too twisted up. But I do notice, like, this control arm has flexed so far, it's now leaving a gouge in the droop screws. So the droop screws, this plastic has flexed so much that the droop screw is now pushed in, and it's flexed so much to where this has created so much of a bend, it's made those marks on each side. So front lower control arms and a front bumper. Front bumper. Front lower A-arms. So far, we're about 8 items in. And I do this after every bash session, and that's why I say just don't put your RC away. You got to go through it. You got to check all the bolts. You got to get everything put back together. Without doing this, you're just going to create more damage. Like this shock that's all twisted up because of that upper mounting point. If I were just to continue bashing it, or I just grab pliers and try to straighten it, it's going to put a lot of stress on that shock. It's not something I want to pay for in the future. It's better to get the parts ordered up, take it apart, straighten the, because the shock tower is just hammered straight. It's going to have muscle memory because it did bend, but you'd have to do that same impact again. So you'll be able to rip it again. You'll just have to keep an eye on it. But meanwhile, I'll have the parts ordered up so that I can continue to rip it. None of my RCs in my arsenal are shelf queens. They're just not. I want to get that sway bar popped back on. And a lot of this stuff isn't shown in the videos. I mean, you guys see that, yeah, he took his Losi out and he bashed the heck out of it, and it survived. But did it really survive? Or did the video just show? I mean, this RC never stopped running. This RC took it like a champ, did its job. We had a bunch of fun with it, and we ripped it all day. And it never left us stuck. We didn't have to stop filming or stop doing anything. So, for a bash day, I think it went pretty well. So it looks like it's cracked on that support brace. And this is stock electronics. So when you get into these bigger RCs, expect to pay, especially with Losi. Losi, this stuff is not sold in pieces, and that's the good thing about arrma and traxxas, is that you can physically go buy one piece. You don't have to buy, you know, everything. I'm going to try to get this shock off so that I can get this shock unbent. And then I'm going to get on eBay and I'm going to start getting, or Horizon site, or start getting all this stuff ordered up. I will be looking for anything that's on sale. I try to buy off eBay a lot because they used to have eBay bucks, but now eBay has stopped that program. So now I've been shopping in other areas, because with eBay, even though the price is cheaper, your shipping cost usually is higher. That is not easy to bend. So surprisingly, these perches don't look bent. And that's because the impact, I think, was on the shock tower itself, between the body and this shock tower. Yeah, that's perfectly straight. So that's going to go in that way. And I won't completely rip the RC apart because I know I don't have parts. Now I think I might have the hinge pin and the hinge pin retainer, because I had to buy a kit and I had to use, I think, a front hinge pin retainer and these plastic bushings and a pin. But you had to buy a whole kit. So I'm hoping the rear is the same as the front, because then I'll have an extra set somewhere. So this is my Losi box. Everything with Losi you gotta buy. See, I have front knuckles, front hinge pins, rear hinge pins, the plastic caps. Everything has to be bought in bulk. Here's a roll cage for the Super Baja Ray 2.0. Suspension arms DBXL. So looks like we have the front lowers. That's a right and that's a left. So I do have the control arms. Here's a height gauge to reset your suspension. So we have the sway bar and the sway bar end link that's bent with the pillow balls. So I already have a set of those because I broke it on one of them. As you see, here's a steering link. Snapped a steering link before. I keep it because I need these rod ends. Here's one of those hinge pin retainers that I could have hammered straight, but I opted, because it's not cut, I kept it as a spare part. sway bar end links. You'll break a lot, so I got a bunch of those. You can see you got to buy them in bulk. Everything's bought in bulk. So here's another hinge pin retainer that's slightly bent, so I should be able to hammer this straight and replace this one. You can see how twisted that is. This is twisted forward, this is twisted back. So I'll put this down. It is aluminum. We'll hammer this straight. This one looks cracked underneath, so we're gonna have to replace it. It doesn't look like I have a new one. Here's a bent hinge pin, a front hinge pin that was on one of these that bent. That's why I have new ones. So now I know what parts I have, and I basically have boxes for each RC. So there's the hinge pin retainer, so we'll need that. I'll have boxes for every RC, and some of the parts are interchangeable between this and my regular DBXLE. All the suspension and chassis parts are normally about the same. I've never bent a shock tower, so, and it's time for a body and the guy. And the funny thing is that this thing is sold in pieces. Now I will pull it apart, I will patch it up, and this will retain my bash body. But that's exactly what it is, a bash body. So what I'll do is I'll buy a complete assembly, and everything's going to be sold separate. The cage, the guys, the front part, the roof part, all that stuff. And I'll set it up to where I'll pull the one bolt in the back, unplug the wire, and I'll put the shelf queen body on it. And that's the way I'll keep it on the shelf. If I'm going to do grass driving, if I'm going to just do some rollers, if I'm not going to send it off a mountain, I'll keep it that way. But there we go, guys. Just a little behind the scenes of what it takes. I'm going to get some parts ordered up for this thing. I'm going to start tearing this thing down. I'm going to show you how I'll patch it back together until all the parts get here. But for now, thanks for watching. Check out the next repair video on this, where you'll watch me shoe glue and fix the front, straighten out that shock tower, get the hinge pin and hinge pin retainer replaced out, get that axle pin working again because this axle's not driving anymore. We'll get it ready so that it can run again and rip again until all these other parts get here. Luckily, I think I have enough parts to get it back together to get it on the road, and then we're going to set the alignment. People ask me how I set alignment on my 10 scales and my 6 scales. This is what I use for my on-road cars, is that I can measure it out this way. So this is an alignment tool. Losi sells them. Most manufacturers do sell them. And this is how I set my alignments. Or I'll use my mobile app like this one. We'll get everything checked out, get everything fixed, hinge pins, everything before we even check alignment. But there we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. Alright, so a little behind the scenes. I just filmed the video of the damage to this RC, and I had a quick question. I want some people to comment down below. At what point do you replace the whole RC? Meaning, at what dollar amount would you consider an RC due to be replaced? And why do you see so many RCs used on the market, and should you buy them? Me, at this point, going through the prices of repairing what's damaged on this RC and parts availability. Now, mind you, the DBXLE 2.0 is on back order. But I still can order one. So keep that in mind. let's find out how much the going rate is for a DBXLE 2.0. The parts that I can find from Horizon Hobby at this point is $200, not counting the parts that I have, not counting the body, and not counting this shock tower. The shock tower I did find up on eBay, which it's basically $37.99 plus shipping. So it's going to be $50 for the shock tower. So now I'm at $250. I haven't located a body or the guys. That's going to be somewhere between 100, well, with the roll cage, probably going to be about $200. So I'm going to be at $450, let alone I have some of these parts. If I didn't have the control arms, if I didn't have the hinge pin, if I didn't have the hinge pin retainers, if I didn't have a lot of those parts, we would probably be looking at an additional $100. So you're $550 into the RC. Let's see how much. And mind you, this plastic is getting wore out. So things are starting to loosen up on the DBXLE. Even though, you know, I've ripped this one pretty good. I can probably put this for sale. Bend this straight. Leave some of the damage here. Just hammer everything straight and list this thing for sale on eBay, because nobody's really going to notice that I hammered this straight, that I hammered this stuff. I'll cut the plastic, I'll clean it up, I'll make it look pretty, and it runs and drives. So I could probably get more than half of the cost. So what it's going to cost, $450, $500 for me to repair it, getting close to $600. Let's see how much a DBXLE cost. This is what I say, you know, I don't buy used because I know what damages happen to this stuff. So let's go to Losi DBXLE. Go. They are on back order. They're $1,100 plus tax. You figure every 100 or every 1,000 is $100. So we're going to be, this is $1,099, so 11, going to be $1,200. So if I got 8 for this, and 9, 10, 11, 12, 450 into repairs, is it better just to off the thing and spend $450 and just buy another one? Comment down below. I'm kind of curious your thoughts. But for me, I will just replace it. If I can't find a body, then I'll probably just order another complete RC and strip it down for parts. Since I have 2, I'm at that point where this one might just become parts, and when the other one comes in, I don't know. But we'll see. Comment down below. What would you do? Kind of curious. Thanks for watching.